Donald J. Trump, aka Agent 45. And what can I tell you? First of all, I want to give a special promotion. This is sponsored by the Adams Board and East End Neighborhood House. This show is. Of course, there have been no pets harmed in the recording of this show, live or otherwise. No dogs and cats were eaten by me or anybody else on my staff. Thank you very much. I would like to say that before I get into the debate, I would just like to say that we lost two icons. First of all, rest in peace to James Earl Jones, the from films like Claudine, Coming to America Part Two, and also the iconic voice of one of the most villainous, villainous villains in movie, cinema, anywhere else, which is Darth Vader. Now, uh, also, we lost another icon, musical icon, Frankie Beverly of Maze, the group Maze, who passed away as well. So James Earl Jones was 93, Frankie Beverly was 77. Rest in peace to the both of them. And you have done well. My kings, you have done well. Let's talk about the debate first of all. Let's get in right into it. First of all, I got to apologize. My guests from New Voices had to reschedule because of some things politically that way we're doing. Shout out to Donovan Atterbury and Beulah Oswaki, the regional directors and directors of New Voices for Reproductive Justice. Still working on the voter apathy. And also, speaking of voter apathy, shout out to Blaine Gliff and the Clergy Coalition and everybody else for having the breakfast, getting 1,000 Black men to vote at Mount Sinai Baptist Church. Shout out to Billy Sharp, Cheryl Stevens, Meredith Turner, and Mayor Annette Blackwell of Maple Heights for being on the panel before the presidential debate this past Tuesday at Mount Sinai. I watched most of the debate at Mount Sinai Baptist Church, but I did get to the good parts. Also, there will be a campaign office opening for Kamala Harris this Saturday on East 105th Street. Also, Culture Fest is coming to Cleveland. Also, you have the Trap Karaoke coming to I think of the House of Blues at Playhouse Square. The Agora Theater this Saturday. Also, you have in the next coming weeks, there will be another breakfast and there will be another fundraiser for Black men who want to vote at the Lanes on September 20th. Let's get into the debate so far. So far, C-SPAN had Donald Trump winning. I don't know how C-SPAN had that, but CNN and everybody else had, Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris winning the debate. Let me explain the reason why. Kamala Harris baited the former president into saying one of the most erratic things, and even she pointed it out that he was going to say some erratic things. I'm gonna say downright loopy crazy, but that's just my personal opinion. The thing about it is that one of the most craziest things that was said by former President Trump was he said in Springfield, Ohio, that that Haitian immigrants were eating the dogs, the cats, the pets, pretty much, which brought a lot of pet memes and a lot of things. But before I get into, our furry friends, I would like to say that he didn't answer a question. A lot of people said that Trump was being fact checked too many times by the commentators. I think that they were doing it in real life, saying that these statements were false, that Trump had brought off false statements, along with the abortions after 9 months. I mean, abortions after 9 months when the baby is born is murder. And I don't think the United States is a bunch of pet eating, baby murdering people. Not to the MAGA supporters, of course, who are zombies, plain crazed zombies. listen, I'm gonna say this about the former president. You know, the level of nuttiness that he has displayed over the course of not only his presidency but after his presidency, and not admitting that he lost to Biden and Harris in January in the presidential election of 2020. The thing about it is Trump said he didn't lose, but if Trump didn't lose, how in the hell is Kamala Harris vice president? That's the first thing that is on the minds of the American people, except for the people that really need the Department of Education, who are truly idiotically crazy. Now, I don't want to call anybody idiotically crazy, but my IG and Facebook has proven that some of these people are disillusioned to the fact that Trump got dog walked, not dog eaten, but dog walked by Kamala Harris when she said that other foreign leaders like Kim Jong Il and Vladimir Putin said that Trump is easily manipulated, and that the other foreign leaders would eat Trump's lunch. That's pretty much basically true. He said he could end the war within 24 hours if he was president or before president or whatever, but I don't think that's the case. That would be the war versus Israel and Pakistan, Russia versus Ukraine. Kamala Harris said that Trump would just quit, would just leave it. He wouldn't do anything. When it comes to a plan for the one thing that Trump didn't do was he said he would eradicate the Affordable Care or the Affordable Care Health Plan Act, or Obamacare, as people like to name it. In 4 years, he didn't do anything to do it. He said when one of the commentators asked him, did he have a plan? Trump said he had a concept of a plan. Concept of a plan. Like I would have a concept of a show. If I had a concept of a show, I wouldn't be on air right now going either through Zoom or in stations across the great state of Ohio or America, period. Now, weird things come up in presidential debates, but this is the first time that I watched a presidential debate that a man was goaded by that another one candidate was goaded by another to answer questions in a crazy way. I think Kamala Harris looked at him like pity or pitiful, and then when she brought up the thing, and then Trump tried to throw the Marxist comment to Kamala's father, which that was not only disrespectful to her father, who was Jamaican, but completely insane. And the thing about it is listen, the Republican Party has a real serious problem. They have a problem of having this crazy, deranged person leading their party. And we've seen what he's done in the 4 years that he was president, which I warned about before he got elected. I warned about during the times of election and when I wasn't in COVID protocol or not shut down from the station. And then this is the reason why we have it. This is why everybody does Zoom calls, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, because everybody was afraid to go outside due to the fact that this terrible virus was going around and Trump did nothing about it. The Congress signed the stimulus checks. Trump gave government money to Wall Street, which they blew through in like 2 days. As far as Trump's claim about people didn't get their student loans forgiven, I've repeatedly said time and time again, and I'm gonna say it again, that due to the Biden-Harris administration, that my student loans were forgiven, all of them. Here's the weird part about this whole thing, is that this man, this former president, first of all, he shouldn't have been president in the first place, but this former president has the unmitigated gall to say that he invited the Taliban, one of the most dangerous terrorist forces in the world, to Camp David, where presidents retreat and meet with solid world leaders. Trump said this and got the name of the leader wrong, which obviously to anybody with a brain who is smartly educated, that was a big mistake. But I'm like, and this prompted Vice President Harris to I think, almost used the word that she hates to use, the curse word, whatever, that. But she said this dude, she's trying to be cordial and civil, but after trying to be cordial and civil, the thing about it is, between feeling pity for him, laughing at him about the pet eating comment, is that what she's dealing with, and she probably had figured that she was dealing with somebody who was unhinged, crazy, and idiotically stupid. IQ is 73. How much depths that the former president Trump could go? Guess what? She Kamala did her thing, but the thing is that she couldn't fathom that he would say crazy things. And this is after Kamala said that Trump would talk about crowd sizes, which he did. Kamala said would talk about immigration, which immigration, even if the question didn't call for immigration, which Trump did. That she would say things that Kamala Harris said that Trump would say off the ball things, which he's done, nailed it on all points. I don't think she had to speak anymore, because of the simple fact of the matter is that out of the two people that were on that stage, that one was a leader, the other one was a loon. Kamala Harris is a leader. Donald Trump is a loon, a complete, utterly adulterated loon. Even some of his Republican people, even though Fox News had him winning the debate, and we know how unbiased they are, or biased they are towards former President Trump, and even a couple of the people who are Republican analysts saying that Trump had a bad night. A bad night? No, he had a bad presidency. That's why he's no longer there, which came to the point that Kamala Harris said that you got fired by 81 million people. 81 million people voted for Biden Harris. The bottom line is that, out of everybody that said, including Charlamagne Tha God on the Breakfast Club, and everybody else has said that Trump lost this debate. And thus the fact that Trump said that he would not debate her again. There will be no fourth debate. There will be none. There will be none. There will be the vice presidential debate between J.D. Vance versus Tim Walz. I'll really wait for this debate. I think that if you think that was a slaughter, then Walz is going to just, first of all, all how Walz has to say is, am I talking to J.D. Vance or the other aliases that you have said over the course in time that before you took office? I'm really flabbergasted about some people's comments about Trump this and Trump that, and still trying to stay on his side. Unless you're that incompetent in the brain, you realize that this man that Trump nor Vance should step nowhere near the White House. Trump never again, Vance ever. Matter of fact, neither one of these two should not be president of anything. Not the president of the teachers union, not president of the janitorials union, not president of anything. I wouldn't trust him to walk my dog, because I'm afraid that Trump would put hot sauce on him and JD Vance would eat the dog. So the thing about it is, my whole thing, and I'm being a little, everybody's saying, Larry, you're being sarcastic, but I'm being true as watching it from a standard, from not only a journalist, but just a regular voter that I've been for the past 40 something years that I've been on this planet, that there's no way in the world. Even Trump said that. I heard that she's black and she puts out. That's a cruel insult to women. Kamala Harris stuck to her guns as far as the abortion rights, the economy, the $25,000 down payment for first-time homeowners, and other things. It's very weird to hear that this dude is running for office. It's really wild at this particular point in time. That it's really, 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 really wild. So it's wild. So it's wild. So it's terrible. No, so it's like, man, I don't even know what to say at this particular point in time, except that if you choose Trump to be your president, that this country is going to hell in a handbasket. That this president at this particular time is going somewhere where it's supposed to be. So I don't know what's going on with excuse me, um pardon me. So forgive me. So thing is that let me get back on here. Apologize for the interruption. So so it's to me, it's like this. That Trump has lost his ever loving backwards mind. And the thing about him losing his ever loving backwards mind is that he's still facing other charges, even though two were thrown out. That Trump has lost his mind. He had, like, I don't think he had one to begin with. But the thing is that why would we even think about voting for this person? And I'm trying not to curse, like, Madam VP is tried not to during the course of the time. But the thing about it is, when a woman laughs at you, you are pretty much in trouble. We all know this as men, but it's weird that Trump would even say these crazy, diabolical, stupid things. And yes, they are stupid. Some people are calling him retarded. I don't like to use that term, but Trump is utterly stupid. He's utterly stupid. And the thing about it is like his stupidity ranges from not knowing the facts to even saying that they allow abortions in states full term, which the commentators, not gang, and everybody said, well, the commentators were ganging up on Trump and they didn't fact check Kamala Harris. Well, you don't have to fact check nobody that tells the truth. You have to fact check people that comes up with either insane statements or outright lies. And Trump just comes up with outright lies. Or if you want to give him the pity, then he's insane. Or he doesn't have the capacity to do a debate. Which, by the way, I found out that Trump is not going to debate Kamala Harris again. It's hard to debate somebody when you know that you are in the wrong, from the January 6th insurrection that you caused, to the pandemic you didn't handle, to the failing to the high unemployment rate when you were president, and Biden and Harris had to come in and clean up your mess, to the simple fact that Trump has no morals, no qualms about anything. He said that the judicial system was weaponized against him. It's hard to weaponize something when you do something so wrong, egregious, that you broke the law in every shape, form, or capacity. And the reason that your sentencing was delayed until after the election is because you're a former president running for re-election or election. And you're not even running for re-election because you lost, because Trump lost to Biden Harris in the first place. Now, remembering 9/11, they were at an event that would be President Joe Biden, Vice President Harris, Trump, Vance, and of course, Tim Walz were there, seemed a little bit cordial after the debate was over. Even Kamala went up to Trump and shook his hand because Trump was trying to avoid her. Trump avoided looking at her every time she made a statement. She looked directly at him, gave a look directly at him and not focused. She focused on the camera to the American people. Trump focused on the camera to say how they're disrespecting him and this is terrible. And of course, the pet eating comment, which is still disgusting to me. Why would you say anything about that? Listen, Ohio had enough problems already. The only cats and dogs that were eaten were the Browns and the Bengals yesterday because they both lost. The Bengals lost to the Patriots in Cincinnati. Just saying. I love my Browns, but damn, you know. Um, my whole thing with what I got out of this debate was that we had one person looking presidential, and we had one person looking presidential, and the other person looking psychopathic. Kamala Harris looked presidential. Trump looked psychopathic. And the thing about it is like for the sake of the souls and the mental health of the American people of the United States of America, please do not let this man get back in the office again. Some of his, like Kamala Harris pointed out that some of his generals is from Trump's former financial analysts, some of the generals that worked for Trump, saying that said that America could not survive another 4 years of Donald Trump. It can. That's why he got booted by 81 million people in the first place. The Electoral College agreed. And then when Trump lost the election, he led an insurrection on Capitol Hill to kill elected officials, including Vice President elect Kamala Harris, his former Vice President Mike Pence, Nancy Pelosi, and other elected officials on Capitol Hill. That's saying something. That's saying a lot. That's saying that there's absolutely, positively no way that we should let this dude back in the office again. And to any African American person that still agrees with this egregious man, this criminal, to let him back in the biggest seat and not only in this nation, but parts of the world, then you would be doing a disservice to the rest of America because you feel like you're going to get a check. Sounds like you're begging to me. It sounds like the only thing that you want is a check for doing absolutely positively nothing. And here's the weird part. Everything like inflation and even Kroger, even a CEO of Kroger has said that we drove prices up because when the pandemic happened, nobody was going to the grocery store because everybody was afraid. And the thing about it is people were afraid to die. So, yeah. Right now we have a problem, a serious problem with the American way of justice. And right now, I don't care for Jill Stein and her comments towards Kamala Harris and the Democratic Party. You haven't said nothing about Trump. I hope that Russia check comes in for you, Dr. Stein, because you ain't won an election ever since you start running. Neither you or the rest of the Green Party. Stop using your platform to try to disrupt it and try to see how you can do the hell. Period. It's a sick, the thing about it is like, unfortunately, this person is a sick man. And the thing about it is like anybody else that thinks that Donald Trump is right for this country also needs to seek professional help. After what I saw on Tuesday, after what he said about not wanting to debate her again, I like the thing about it is the only thing that I can take away from this whole, like, listen, I got it 91-9 Kamala. That means I don't believe in 100%. Trump did complete sentences, but he completed the wrong sentences. Now, he did bring up something very interesting. He said that, the gun control, he's like, she wants to take away your guns. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are saying they both proud gun owners, not trying to take away guns. There's some, like the fracking thing that, Kamala Harris, said that Kamala Harris flipped back and forth from. I'll give him that point. As an analyst, as a journalist, I'll give him that point about that. But everything else, she clearly baited you into saying crazy stuff. And I think a lot of people said this, a lot of his camp said Trump needs to stay with the issues. He didn't. He never does. He goes off on this tangent about immigration, brings it up whenever it's not asked, and then goes off about something else. That, like, the thing about it is the one, and another thing is, like, even though Trump is incoherently crazy, he's hilarious. And sometimes, but you don't want to. But the thing about it is, my mother always told me not to laugh at the mentally ill. And Trump is mentally ill. And whoever votes for Trump is mentally ill. I'm just going to say it like that. You can get mad at me all you want to. You can say, Larry, you tripping. But the thing about it is, you tripping if you vote for that man for office, period. I don't hear it. Like, speaking of crazy, um, this Super Bowl thing has gone out of control. Now, the Super Bowl is in New Orleans, Louisiana. And the halftime Super Bowl performance will be done by none other than Kendrick Lamar. Now, the thing about the whole thing that with the Kendrick Lamar thing is that a lot of people say that Lil Wayne should perform at the Super Bowl in New Orleans. He's from there. He represents there. He represents Nolan, which is only right. Except the simple fact of the matter is that Lil Wayne has not had a good performance in years, and this is a corporate-sponsored event. Even the whole city had a panel of having people on a short list to perform at New Orleans, and they didn't pick Lil Wayne. A lot of people, including Birdman, Nicki Minaj, Brian Birdman Williams, Nicki Minaj, Little Boosie, and other people are saying that this isn't right. They're blaming one Jay-Z, hip hop artist Jay-Z, who was part of the entertainment committee for the National Football League, especially for events like this. Let me just say this about Jay-Z. Jay-Z did help Lil Wayne when Lil Wayne owed $14 million in taxes. So there's no beef. Now, there may be the beef with Drake and everything else like that. That's why Kendrick is doing it. Of course, he had that big thing with Drake, and which Kendrick pretty much stormed Drake out. As far as that, with They Not Like Us, Not Like Us with the song. That's been played a couple of other dishes that he had. Kendrick did drop a new song. But let me just explain why that Kendrick is Super Bowl Sunday lands on Black History Month, the beginning of Black History Month. We all know it lands in February, and February is the beginning of Black History Month. Lil Wayne has been seen in pictures supporting former President Trump, which doesn't really go over well with most of the African American population, saying that Jay-Z shut him down. Listen, a lot of people are blaming Jay-Z. Juvenile even said, blaming Roger Goodell, you want our money, you want this, you want that, you want New Orleans to support you, but yeah, you won't put Lil Wayne on. Let me just explain something. A lot of people don't perform in their home city. The only people that actually really performed in their home city is Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. Now, 50 Cent is not from Cali. Eminem is not from Cali. New York and Detroit, respectively, but they were part of Dr. Dre's artists. Dr. Dre has a record company, Aftermath. Had Snoop Dogg. He was part of Death Row. He produced Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg is now the owner of Death Row Records. Eminem has 50 Cent has his own. He produces Power. Eminem, one of the greatest hip hop artists ever, has Shady Records, period, where he has artists under him. Lil Wayne is no more than a hip hop artist. You had hip hop executives performing in California. And last year was in Vegas, and of course Usher, who does shows in Vegas, who has been a cultural icon, performed there. I mean, if y'all want Taylor Swift, say so. By the way, Taylor Swift is supporting Kamala Harris for president. Listen, if Kendrick Lamar brings out Lil Wayne, cool. But to everybody to blame Jay-Z, this is a corporate, there's billions and billions of dollars of commercials come on Super Bowl Sunday. We all watch them. We all watch them. We all look at that. Millions and millions of dollars. You had icons like Michael Jackson, Prince, and Whitney Houston and Beyonce perform at the Super Bowl halftime show, like Maroon 5, other things of that nature. You had those people perform at those particular events. Now, Lil Wayne forgets his lines. Lil Wayne slurs because he's high or he's on something. You know, don't listen. Stop going after Jay-Z. There's an executive decision that is made. Let Kendrick bring out Lil Wayne for a song. Now it might cause some friction with Drake, but who gives a damn? Aubrey's fine. He'll be okay. If we have a Super Bowl in Toronto, he can perform at that. But my thing is this. Everybody's crying about that. But looking at the bigger picture about the corporate sponsorship, listen, there's a lot of people outside of New Orleans that may not want to hear Lil Wayne. And the thing about it is, when the Black Lives Matter came up, the situation, that Lil Wayne said that Black lives didn't matter to him. And he's an African American hip hop artist with tattoos on his face. So don't tell me, and the thing about it is, I see the other side of it too. Lil Wayne represents New Orleans. Lil Wayne it has made hip hop hip hop hits, has made hits, musical hits, period. So I get it. Young Money, everybody should be there and everything else. But when you say that, when everybody screams that everybody's selling out, like people sold Lil Wayne out, who's taking pictures with former President Trump who doesn't care about Black Lives Matter? Weezy. And the only person that ain't really said nothing about all the craziness is Wayne himself. He has not said, I am disappointed. He has not said anything. There's been no statements, no tweets, no nothing from Weezy's camp saying, hey, look, everybody else been saying it for him. Only naturally like that y'all loyal to him. But you want to blame Drake? Go ahead and blame Drake. Don't blame Jay-Z. Blame Drake. Because Drake lost that dang hip-hop battle to Kendrick. That's why Kendrick's sitting where he at. Drake's sitting where he is. And that's why Wayne's sitting where he is. Thing about it is like everybody wanted, like when he made that hip-hop song, Not Like Us, specifically dropping everything, strategy, like to the victor goes the spoils. If you win the rap beef, you perform on Super Bowl Sunday. If you lose the rap beef, or if you're affiliated with somebody that lost a rap beef, you sitting at home watching it, or maybe in the stands. All depends. Speaking of football, Miami Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill was pulled over, detained, and then let go, him and a teammate, before his game because he had tinted windows. He was speeding a little bit. The cop arrested him. He was saying that now the cop is on administrative leave. It should have just been a ticket, but instead it's like Tyree refused to step out the car, blah, 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 blah. Like football players and former football players get into the trouble, like Shannon Sharpe in his quote unquote IG sex video. Nothing's gonna happen about that. But my thing is this is just me. It's a lot of stuff going on right now that I really go like, and this is one of the things that if Tyreek Hill wasn't who he was, something could have happened to him. And the weird part about it is like something far worse could have happened to him. And the weird part about it is like some people are defending the cops saying, well, the cops said like, blah, 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 blah. Like the point is that if it's a ticket for speeding, Tyler, like he refused to step out of the car, like I'm going to a game, like Dade County should do something as far as this police officer, because we don't know how many times he's pulled somebody over for absolutely nothing. It's like, oh, I understand that stars, we stopped giving stars a star treatment, but it should have been an isolated incident and just been a speeding ticket. Hey, I apologize. I, spared or whatever, however it was. But tinted windows and stuff like that, when you saw like, oh, that's Tyreek Hill. Oh, well, you didn't believe that it was Tyreek Hill? You don't watch football on Sundays in your hometown? By the way, the Dolphins won against the Jaguars. Come from behind win with Tyreek Hill scoring like a 63-yard touchdown. So I guess the cheetah can't outrun the cops. So, but he did outrun a couple of Jaguar defenders. So shout out to him. I'm glad him and his teammate got to the game safely. rattled a couple of people. But the thing about it is like, I'm just glad that it happened. This is weird. This has been one weird September, and we are going into fall. And the weirdest part about this whole thing is that with this going on, with the political landscape changing, because we're going to have a new leader because Biden stepped away, that we need to do, like, this is the make or break year. Now, I said that 2020 for the presidential election was make or break. It was pretty much the changing of the guard. But this is a make or break year for the country, because what will it say about our country if we let an individual who has been convicted of crimes and needs to be sent, his sentencing will not happen until after the presidential election? What does it say about our country that we let this person lead us instead of a qualified African American, biracial woman, African American Indian woman? What does it say about our country if we let this keep happening? That we like white supremacy, that we're going to keep beating ourselves down to this particular point? What does it say about our African American people if we keep letting stuff like this go on? It's what it says. We're stupid. That the aliens that have been watching us from afar, whether it be Martians, people from Venus, Pluto, or Kryptonians, or some other far off galaxy, far, far away, come down here. They have every right to invade us and take over, because we don't know how to govern ourselves accordingly. Because we are looking at an opportunity to change the tide of voting the first woman in office who's qualified. She's more than qualified than he is. But we're trying to give him his job back after he done screwed it up. Cost Americans not only lives, but finances, but jobs and positions. Cost sports, like, had, because of the pandemic, not only were churches, but sports arenas were shut down, didn't do nothing for student loan forgiveness, didn't do anything for anybody. And then we have lost jobs. Unemployment rate was high to the rafters. Are we seriously really considering this? And some of you African American folk, especially you brothers, who have been butthurt because there's a woman running for president, stop crying. Listen, I know mental illness is real, but some of you are deep into your feelings for whatever reason that you can't see the light in the end of the tunnel. If you don't like America, just say so. Like, if you don't like her because she's a woman, just say so. I'll understand more than saying, well, what are her policies are? She's copying his policies. We're off the Democratic plantation. Listen, you haven't, y'all gotta be kidding me. Listen, I'm gonna watch the Bills and the Dolphins tonight. I'm gonna end the show. Next week, I'll be in studio with a fashion designer. Promise. We will still have Get Out to Vote, GOTV, period. Listen, if nobody tells you they love you today, I do. This is Larry H. Gardner. Please, y'all, take care of yourselves. And remember, if you're not registered to vote, your last day is October 7th. Early voting starts October 8th. I mean, not just the president, but judges and Congress people around, and state senators. Sherrod Brown and Shontel Brown are running against Moreno. Sherrod Brown's running against Moreno, Shontel. If you want to participate, come to the lanes on Sunday, next Friday, September 20th. I'll be down in Columbus next Tuesday doing voter apathy at the Citadel with New Voices Reproductive Justice. All this stuff going on. There's an opening in the Kamala Harris campaign office this Saturday on 105th Street, I think 1100 East 105th Street. Look at my Facebook page, Larry H. Gardner. You'll find all the information there. If you want to help, please do. If you want to sit back and complain, you can do that too. But don't complain when nothing happens in your favor. Sometimes, like, the good old, I'm gonna end this with the good old R.A. Vernon of the Word Church says, sometimes you cannot be upset because other people are getting blessed around you. Just make sure that you bless others. And if you bless others, then your blessing will come. I love you guys. Peace.